everybody. Welcome to Michael's Wrestling Review. As you can see in the title below, these will be my top 9 wrestling belts of all time. If you're a wrestling fan, you always have belts and wrestlers that are near and dear to your heart. Some people may not agree with it, but that's what makes wrestling wonderful, is we can all love it and disagree on some stuff. So these will be my top 9 belts in wrestling history. Number 9 is the Daniel Bryan WWE Championship, and what I mean is when he was the Planets Champion, and it was the hemp belt. I just thought it was cool as hell. To me, it's the best looking custom, individual belt I've ever seen. Actually, at WrestleMania 35, I said this in my WrestleMania 35 trip review. They had a TV used one for $5,000, and let me tell you, if I'd had $5,000 just laying around with nothing to do with it, that belt would have come home with me. But I thought it was fantastic. I really thought it fit the character well. The look of the belt just fit that character very well. I wish he could have, kept it around a little longer, but Kofi Mania happens, and that's just the hand we're dealt. Number 8 is the NWA United States Championship. It's a belt like guys like Tully Blanchard, Barry Windham, Magnum TA, Dusty, all those guys from back in the 80s held. It's just a classic looking belt. To me, it's the second best United States Championship I've ever seen, next to one we will see later on in this list. But it was a sign of the times that belts were supposed to they were supposed to look like they meant something, and this belt looked like it meant something. I had a tough time deciding between this one and the actual current WWE United States Championship, because when I first saw that, I thought it was the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen. But as I've seen it more, it's really, really grown on me, and to me, it makes the U.S. title look important. The look of that new one has the same effect this one did. It's the same effect. It makes it look like it is an important championship. Number 7 is the IWGP United States Championship. Again, it's just a belt that makes it look like an important championship. It's not too gaudy. There's the subtle American flag there in the middle. But overall, the belt is just completely fucking gorgeous. I actually almost flip-flopped that and another IWGP belt I'll get to here in a couple. But, it's a wonderful belt. Jon Moxley's the current title holder, but I get the feeling Kenta's going to be getting it pretty quick. Number 6 is the Ring of Honor Television Championship, the second version of it. It's the one that had the really elongated middle piece, and then it got smaller as it went out. It kind of looked like the old WCW 6-man tag belts. It's the one that Roderick Strong, Jay Lethal, Matt Taven, Marty Scurll, Will Ospreay, the one those guys had. I just thought it was a neat looking belt. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I thought it was a fantastic belt. I wish they'd bring it back because I fucking hate the one they have now. Number 5 is the current IWGP Heavyweight Championship belt. Again, same thing with the AEW belt. Same thing it's the same thing, same effect the AEW Championship has. It's the same thing, like I said, the IWGP US and the NWA US title have. That makes the IWGP belt makes the guy who wears it look like a big fucking deal. That looks like what a wrestling championship should look like. It looks like what your top championship should look like. Your top championship should be your best looking belt. Period. End of story. Unfortunately, WWE does not follow that. But yeah, the IWGP title looks incredible. I think Kota Ibushi is the current IWGP champion, and he's also the current IWGP Intercontinental Champion. But that belt is just fucking amazing, and it looks so great on whoever has it. To me, it's the top belt, probably the top belt in the world right now. The number 4 is the original Ring of Honor Championship, and I know it just looks like a piece of fucking just basic metal with giant ROH printed in on it. But to me, the guys who held that, you had guys like fucking Homicide and Samoa Joe and CM Punk and James Gibson and Jerry Lynn held that belt. that belt was synonymous with independent wrestling for about a 5-6 year period until they changed it. I was really hoping that, with the new group that's in Ring of Honor, which is Jay Lethal, Jonathan Gresham, Rhett Titus, and Tracy Williams, I was really hoping if one of them wins the ROH Championship, they will bring that title back, much like they did with the original Pure Championship. But to me, that's the best belt Ring of Honor's ever had. Closely followed by the one that guys like Adam Cole and Lethal had, and it's the one Cody held, that belt. I had trouble just picking between the two, but to me, the original ROH title is just, it's beautiful. Number 3 is the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. It's probably the most, outside of the Winged Eagle, one of the most instantly recognizable belts in the history of professional wrestling. I could spend an hour listing off all the tremendous wrestlers that held that belt. Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair. I could keep going and going and going. The current title holder is Nick Aldis. At one point, I was a ring announcer and commentator for an NWA affiliate when the NWA was under Bruce Tharp. And we actually had an NWA World Championship match at one of our shows back in, I believe it was 2013. It was Rob Conway defending against Damian Wayne. And I actually got to hold the NWA Championship. And that was an experience, just getting to hold a belt that has that much history and prestige behind it. But yeah, it's a belt that makes the guy who holds it look like a big deal. Number 2, and these aren't well regarded by other fans, but these are my 2 personal favorites. Number 2 is the WCW United States Championship. I think that's the best looking United States Championship I've ever seen. In a way, it was their answer to the Winged Eagle because it had that big giant bird on the front. But to me, that is the best United States Championship I've ever seen. So many guys held that belt. DDP, Ricky Steamboat, Steve Austin, Lex Luger. Flair held it at one point. But it was a fantastic belt. Booker T was the last one to hold it because he was the WCW and United States champion. I don't count the WWE reigns because they don't fucking matter. But then number 1 is the WCW championship, not the big gold belt like everybody likes. Was the 91 to 94 version. It's the one guys like Sting and Lex Luger and Vader and Ron Simmons held that belt. That belt was fucking awesome. It was the best belt WCW ever had, and if you disagree, you're fucking wrong. I'm sorry, but you are. It was such an incredible belt. If I ever buy a replica championship, that's probably the one I'll buy if I can find it. But so those are my top 9 world title belts of all, not world title belts, just wrestling belts in general of all time. Again, everybody, I appreciate anybody who watches these. Does my heart good to know that some people care about the things I say. I appreciate it, guys, and we will see you next time.